As soon as I opened my eyes, I found myself on a massive wooden raft out at sea. Lying on the raft were 99 female students from my large art history class, along with our goddess professor, Elena, and I was the only male. While I was still in a daze, a grand, indifferent voice smashed directly into everyone's minds. Welcome to the raft survival world. Every group starts with only a classroom-sized raft as their foundation. Every raft has one and only one captain, and the captain possesses the highest authority. If the captain dies, the raft sinks immediately. Everyone must salvage supplies to build the raft. At night, eerie monsters will haunt the area. The sea area changes every month, and there is a lethal tsunami every 7 days. If you encounter other ships, killing their captain allows you to snatch all their supplies. Smashed by a series of rules, I was completely dumbfounded. Then I turned to look. Those 99 female classmates weren't scared at all. They were chattering excitedly, acting as if this was just an adventure. I opened my own panel and discovered that I was actually the captain of this raft. Great, that meant if I died, these 99 people would have to be buried with me. Professor Elena immediately stepped forward to take charge. She was 28, wearing a tight white shirt, a black hip-hugging skirt, and black silk stockings. This Manga outfit felt completely out of place in a survival world, but she was calm and intelligent, perfectly suited for this role. Everyone quiet down. Since things have come to this, we can only accept reality. Work together to survive. Students who have awakened talents, report your abilities. Elena herself was an SS rank master tactician, able to see hidden prompts, with a thinking and reaction speed 3 times that of a normal person. A humanoid walking radar. Next, the curvy and odd-air-cably nerdy Lily timidly raised her hand. I am an A-rank rune divination. I can divine the raft's fortune once a day. Her twin sister Luna, a tomboy with short hair, rolled her eyes and drew a dagger. I'm an A-rank phantom swordsman. Main combat power. From the back of the crowd, the stunningly beautiful and Sundra-rich girl Chloe stepped forward holding a glowing egg. I'm an S-rank dragon girl. In 10 days, I can hatch a dragon baby and even fuse with it. Even Sophie, the cute twin-tailed girl in the center of the raft who was pulled in halfway through a shower, raised her foam-covered arm. I'm a brank bubble blowing. I can create defensive bubbles and also allow people to breathe underwater for an hour. Everyone's gaze finally gathered on me in unison. I was the only man and the captain. I took a deep breath and opened my panel. Talent. Titan's body SSS rank. As long as you are in the ocean world, surviving each day adds 1 to constitution, stacking infinitely without limit. Grow to the late stage and shatter an emperor with a single punch. Before I could even rejoice, another exclusive mechanical voice rang in my mind. Ding! Dynasty reproduction system activated. Birthing an offspring allows you to turn any single item into an unlimited quantity. Double cheats. A bottle of mineral water could become an infinite drinking water plant, and a piece of bread is an inexhaustible food factory. On this vast ocean, this was a godly skill. I cleared my throat and decided to lay my cards on the table for the future of the entire ship. My talent is called Dynasty Reproduction. As long as I have a child with someone, I can turn an item into an unlimited quantity. Boom! The entire raft was instantly put on mute. The air froze. All the girls widened their eyes, their jaws shattering on the floor. Have a baby? Unlimited supplies? Tying these two completely unrelated things together, after a full dozen seconds, the crowd exploded. Oh my god, unlimited? Real or fake? Doesn't that mean we won't lack food and water? The point is, we have to help the captain have a baby. Swish! Nearly 100 gazes filled with shock, shyness, and even green glints of hunger focused on me. The atmosphere instantly became extremely ambiguous, the air filled with pink bubbles. A few party girls immediately egged on their besties on the spot, and even Elena blushed and shot me a reproachful glare. My heart bloomed with joy. The first bottle of unlimited purified waterware is the first brave warrior. Waiting online quite urgent. Of course, right now the raft was completely bare without even a wall, so a live broadcast was impossible. I directly flashed my captain's privileges, scaring them that I'd throw them into the sea to feed the fishes if they disobeyed. Only then did these princesses obediently pick up rudimentary fishing rods and start working. After fishing for an hour, the sea was calm, and they didn't catch a single hair. The drop rate was absurdly low. I looked at Lily. Try your talent. Let's see today's fortune. Lily blushed, pulling out an antique rune bag. She closed her eyes and grabbed blindly, muttering, Adi, goddess of destiny, please bless me with a big D. I almost choked on my own spit. The entire class of girls burst into roaring laughter, various wild and wolfish remarks flying around. Lily was so embarrassed she wanted to jump into the sea, and only Luna drawing her dagger to protect her managed to suppress the crowd. Lily poured out the rune stone. Upon seeing the engraving on it, her face instantly turned deadly pale. Doom. The prompt said our luck was extremely bad, and we must build a cabin as soon as possible to hide from the eerie great terror of the night. Fear overwhelmed everything. Everyone fished for their lives. By dusk, they barely gathered over 200 wooden planks. With a command from me, the planks flew up automatically and spliced together, forming an enclosed small wooden cabin, 8 meters long and 5 meters wide. In the center of the raft, just as the sky turned dark. Everyone, get inside. No one is allowed to go out tonight. 100 adults squeezed into a 40 square meter cabin, pressed against each other, making it hard to even turn around. The air was full of shampoo and the scent of young girls. I was forcibly pushed to the very center of the crowd by Elena and Luna. On my left was Elena's ripe plumpness, and on my right was Lily's softness. I took out the only supplies we had today: 10 bottles of water, 30 compressed bread rolls. Everyone took turns drinking. Each person only took a tiny sip of water and ate a fingernail-sized piece of bread. I brought the last bit of bread to Lily's lips, deliberately lowering my voice to tease her. "Open your mouth." This little audio cable fool froze, her watery peach blossom eyes at a loss. The surrounding girls jeered wildly, fighting out of jealousy. Finally, Luna snatched the bread and roughly stuffed it into Lily's mouth, ending the farce. Late at night, everyone fell asleep leaning against each other. Suddenly, a loud boom. The raft sank heavily and shook violently. It was as if it was fiercely slapped by an invisible deep-sea behemoth. Piercing screams tore through the night. Fierce winds howled like ghosts and wolves, and massive waves smashed wildly against the walls. A timid girl plunged crazily into my arms, hugging me tightly and trembling all over. "Ghosts! There are ghosts!" Everyone looked in the direction she was pointing. Their scalps instantly went numb. Outside the gaps in the wooden boards, a blue dread, vertical pupiled eye as big as a basketball was pressed right up against it. It rolled frantically, scanning us greedily. Immediately after, a giant mouth stretching to the earlobes appeared next to the eye, curling into a grotesquely bizarre smile. A silent late-night ward round. The cabin was dead silent for a few seconds, then completely broke down. Cries and screams merged together. Alina's beautiful face was pale, her nails digging fiercely into my flesh. Luna stood in front of her sister, drawing her dagger. More girls squeezed desperately toward me. I felt like I was going to be suffocated. Relying on my titan's body, I steadied my mindset, staring dead at that eye. The rules restricted it from entering right now, but in 7 days, there would be a tsunami. This crappy raft was like paper. It definitely couldn't withstand it. We had to expand. We had to build a large, wave-resistant ship. Early the next morning, sunlight pierced the darkness. The monsters retreated. I stood up and stretched, my bones popping loudly all over. Titan's body took effect. Constitution 1. I felt like I could knock out a cow with one punch. Pushing the door open, everyone had the look of surviving a disaster. Elena quickly regained her aura of a university professor, directing everyone to hold a morning meeting and test their skills. Sophie puffed her cheeks and spat out a human-sized pink bubble. A curious girl poked it, got sucked in, and floated in midair crying for help. When the bubble popped, she fell on her butt and everyone laughed together. It was the Tsundra Chloe's turn. She hesitated for a long time, then could only bite the bullet, sit cross-legged, and stuff the dragon egg under her skirt, wedging it at the base of her thighs. Her body was stiff, looking exactly like a mother hen incubating an egg. After the laughing and joking, the whole crew continued fishing. In the afternoon, Lily drew a small fortune. The fishing rod in my hand sank heavily, bending into a shape. I exerted force with both arms and forcefully hauled up a black iron treasure chest. Opening it, 50 wooden planks, 2 moldy pieces of bread, and a blueprint for a basic workbench. I directly learned the blueprint and consumed the materials to build the workbench. The panel instantly unlocked the iron bottom campfire, iron pot, and simple water purifier. All life-saving divine artifacts, but a bucket of cold water was poured on us. We had no iron blocks, no plastic, and couldn't build them. An entire afternoon passed, and the whole class only caught 3 palm-sized fish and 5 packets of biscuits. The sky darkened again. Hunger burned the stomach like fire. The expanded wooden cabin was a bit more spacious. I used rags to partition off a single room in the corner as the captain's cabin. Outside by the fire, I divided the food into 100 portions. Everyone still only got a tiny sip of water. Swallowing sounds rose and fell. Everyone was green with hunger. In the darkness, someone muttered faintly, If only we really had unlimited water." Swish! 99 gazes simultaneously locked onto me. Those eyes were full of primitive beast-like desire. The bottom line was completely loosening. My scalp tingled. I stood up and patted my butt. "You have everything in your dreams." I directly slipped into the captain's cabin and pulled the ragged cloth curtain shut. Outside, the monster's claws were scraping the wooden boards, making screeching sounds. I lay on the wooden bed but didn't sleep. I was waiting for the first lost lamb. As long as I had unlimited supplies, I could establish absolute ruling authority. Suddenly, the curtain moved. A fair hand lifted a corner. A familiar intellectual women's perfume scent drifted into my nose. Borrowing the moonlight, I saw Alina's face, red as blood, poke in. She bit her lower lip, her voice trembling terribly. "Silas, I want to talk to you about the supplies." Talk about supplies? This was clearly delivery right to my door. I didn't get up, just reached out, grabbed her trembling wrist, and yanked fiercely. A strongly suppressed cry of surprise. That warm, soft, and plump body fell directly into my arms. The curtain dropped. In the narrow space, there were only our heartbeats. Elena froze completely. I hugged her back and laughed softly. "Professor, looking for me to talk about supplies? With just one word from you, the whole class can drink unlimited water tomorrow. You, let me go first." Her voice carried a pleading tone, her whole body turning soft. "Let you go and watch everyone die of thirst tomorrow? We must be responsible for the future." These words accurately pried open the lock on her heart. She closed her eyes and stopped struggling. My hand slid slowly upwards along the hem of her tight white shirt, my fingertips touching a startling smoothness. Her body shuddered shuddered violently, and her breathing stopped, just as I was about to reach the peak. Woo! A ghost howl, even more mournful than the previous night, suddenly came from outside. Boom! The raft shook violently as if it was going to fall apart. Elena was directly thrown out, crashing hard against the wooden wall. This impact completely woke her up. The ambiguity vanished. Silas, I'm sorry, I'm not ready yet. She crawled and fled out of the curtain. I lay on the bed, my face as black as the bottom of a pot. Damn monsters, daring to ruin my good time. Sooner or later, they'll chop you up and feed you to the fishes. Early on the third day, everyone started working with dark circles under their eyes. Lily rubbed her eyes and continued reaching into the rune bag. Clatter, the rune stone hit the deck. After seeing the engraving on it clearly, her eyes went perfectly round, and she shouted excitedly, "Captain, it's a big D. It's really a big D destiny." The surrounding girls didn't even have the strength to laugh. I took a closer look. Extreme luck destiny. Luck is bursting. Every cast catches a treasure. Cut the crap. Get to work. Over the course of the morning, the drop rate was simply heaven-defying. Wooden planks, iron blocks, plastics, and purified water flew up in piles. Even large sea fish weighing 5 caddies were caught by the dozen. Gasps of amazement echoed continuously. Everyone swept away their exhaustion, dancing wildly in ecstasy. I walked directly to the workbench, consuming materials to build the iron bottom campfire and the large iron pot. Poured in seawater, put in the cleaned fish meat. The pure, fresh aroma of the fish instantly permeated the air. Everyone stared eagerly at the pot, swallowing hard. A pot of fish soup went down, spreading a warm feeling. The whole crew was revived to full health. After eating and drinking our fill, I clicked open the captain's panel and discovered a new line of information. Current sea area, gloomy wind sea area. Normal resource output is extremely low, night monsters are doubled. Case closed. No wonder it was so dark the first 2 days. It was pure hell difficulty. Today was all thanks to Lily's extreme luck. I revealed the conditions for upgrading to a level 2 raft. While the good luck hasn't passed, upgrade the raft to level 2 before dark. Everyone, as if injected with chicken blood, continued their crazy fishing. In the afternoon, Elena hesitated for a long time before pulling me into the captain's cabin. She lowered her head, her face burning hot. "Silas, I'm sorry about last night. Although I'm older than you all, I haven't experienced that kind of thing. Can we take it slow and get to know each other first?" I understood, retreating in order to advance. Anyway, we were all on the same boat. She couldn't run away. I nodded and smiled. "I understand you, Elena, but since we're taking it slow, can I look at your legs?" Her brain buzzed, and eventually, she agreed with a sound like a mosquito's hum. She sat on the edge of the bed. That pair of perfectly rounded jade legs wrapped in black silk was flawless. I crouched down and placed my hand on her calf. "You've been standing all day and are tired. Let me give you a massage." My fingertips kneaded through the stockings. Her body trembled slightly, her breathing rapid. The temperature rose, the ambiguity so thick it could wring out water. Just as my hand was about to cross her knee, swish, the curtain was violently lifted. Chloe poked her head in. "Captain, the materials are ready." Her voice abruptly stopped. She stared dead at my hand, grasping Elena's beautiful black silk leg. The air stood still for 3 seconds. "I didn't see anything. You guys continue." Chloe dropped the curtain and fled in panic. Elena felt like dying from shame, violently pulled her leg back, and rushed out. I sighed. Walking onto the deck, I pinched Chloe's guilty-looking cheek and directly faced the mountain of materials to issue the command. Consume 1,800 wooden planks, 150 iron blocks, 150 plastics, upgrade the raft. White light exploded. The battered wooden raft reorganized crazily. The area expanded by a quarter. The gaps between the wooden boards were filled with black glue, and thick half-meter-high wooden fences rose around the perimeter. The sense of security was maxed out. Level 2 raft upgrade successful. World chat channel unlocked. The girls cheered and jumped for joy. I opened the world channel and it exploded. It was extremely lively inside. Some were looking at corals in the Rainbow Sea area. Some were killing people and robbing supplies in the River Styx Sea area. The most outrageous was a guy named Chad who had already upgraded to level 4. Immediately after, a bombshell message flooded the screen. Upgrading to level 5 to become a real ship requires a storm core, produced during the tsunami in 4 days. The first 3 captains to upgrade to a ship will be rewarded with epic treasure chests. Epic treasure chests. They could yield purple gear and skills, top-tier items. All the girls' eyes turned red, but they soon fell into disappointment. Our crappy sea area had so few resources. What could we use to compete with others? Nearly 100 people looked in unison at me and Elena. I stared at the message on the screen. So what if we're temporarily behind? As long as I have unlimited supplies, once we upgrade to level 3 and unlock the trading market, I can use unlimited mineral water to exchange for the best materials across all sea areas. Arriving later but striking first, I stared at the epic chest announcement in the world channel, looked at the eager eyes of all the girls present, and a crazy ambition ignited in my heart. Epic chest. I'm definitely taking it. Night fell, and the solid feeling brought by the level 2 raft allowed everyone to sleep soundly. By the campfire, Elena had shed her tight professional suit from the daytime and changed into a loose t-shirt. That pair of thrillingly beautiful legs was swaying right in front of my eyes. She bit her lip, staring fixedly at me. "Silas, a level 3 raft raft unlocks the trading market. As long as we have your unlimited supplies, we can trade for top-tier materials before the tsunami. She took a deep breath, as if making some earth-shattering resolve, and slowly squatted in front of me. In order for everyone to survive, tonight I give myself to you. Lord Captain, please be gentle with me. Just as the words fell, before I could make a move, a crisp crack directly tore through the night sky. Immediately after, a dazzling golden pillar of light shot up into the sky. My face turned completely black. Fuck, ruining things again. Lifting the curtain to look, the center of the anomaly was actually where Chloe was incubating the egg. That dragon egg had completely cracked open. Golden lightning arcs and crimson flames were crazily interweaving. Chloe sat cross-legged on the ground, drenched in sweat, trembling all over in agony. The energy in her body was being frantically drained by the dragon egg. She's gonna be sucked dry. Elena paled in shock. Don't interrupt. I stared dead at the dragon egg. This is the talent sensing the tsunami crisis and self-evolving. Interrupting her now will ruin everything. I rushed over in one step, sat cross-legged opposite Chloe, and grabbed her hands tightly. Initiate energy sharing. I forcibly poured the pure life energy of my titan's body into her body. Time ticked by. Dawn broke. Crack. The dragon egg completely shattered. A palm-sized little cute dragon, covered in crimson gold scales with lightning flames burning on its tail, flew out. It circled the exhausted Chloe once. The next second, its golden vertical pupils locked directly onto me. Yep, the little guy turned into a stream of light, plunged headlong into my arms, and frantically rubbed its furry little head against my chin. I forced myself to open my eyes, looked at the panel, and my heart bled. My constitution had dropped directly to a pitiful 9 points, sent back to square one overnight. But immediately after, a line of shining golden text popped up on the panel. Obtain talent, Dragon Knight S rank, confused with the Dragon Baby, massively increasing combat power. Note, you injected Titan's body energy, becoming the Dragon Baby's Dragon Father. I straight up became a happy father. This wave was a massive profit. Chloe threw herself over, hugging me and crying a river. The surrounding girls all crowded up, squeezing me so hard I almost passed away on the spot. Everyone step aside. I forced a smile. I'm not that weak. After breakfast, I pointed at Lily. Little odd air cable fool, time to work. Lily blushed, reaching into the rune bag and grabbing wildly. Big D, the rune hit the deck, and without suspense, it was extreme luck destiny. The whole class of girls started fishing crazily like they were injected with chicken blood. The drop rate of extreme luck was simply outrageous. Wooden planks, iron blocks, and plastics flew everywhere. By dusk, I waved my hand grandly. Consume materials, upgrade to level 3 raft. With a flash of white light, the raft expanded again, and the trading market was officially unlocked. Holographic screens popped open on the deck, covered with good stuff from other sea areas. Skill books, weapons, blueprints, everything you could want. But the whole class fell silent, because in this crappy place of ours, we couldn't afford a single thing. Everyone's gaze once again locked onto me and Elena. Elena's face instantly turned bright red. Night enveloped us again. Inside the wooden cabin, 99 girls lay on their beds, no one sleeping. I stood up, grabbed Elena's hand, and dragged her straight into the captain's cabin. The cloth curtain fell. The entire cabin fell into a dead silence, leaving only deafening heartbeats. Not long after, intermittent whimpers could be heard. Lily covered her head tightly with her quilt. Luna cursed irritably, and Zoe whispered frantically with her besties. This tough battle, I forcibly fought until the second half of the night. At noon the next day, I walked out yawning and glanced at the system panel. Not pregnant. Impregnation failed. Fuck, I worked my ass off for half the night, emptied my mana bar, and you're telling me it missed. With a black face, I grabbed Elena, who had just walked out, and amidst the shocked gazes of the whole class, dragged her back into the captain's cabin. I locked the door securely. In broad daylight again, Zoe's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. That afternoon, the battle lasted until sunset. Elena walked out with trembling legs, holding onto the doorframe, her face filled with the relief of the dust settling. I collapsed on the bed, looking at the wildly flashing golden prompts before my eyes, trembling all over with excitement. Elena has successfully conceived, gestating twins, obtained 2-item infinite conversion opportunities, double the happiness. I didn't burst my liver for nothing. I abruptly charged out of the curtain and pulled out a bottle of Evian purified water. Confirm conversion. In an instant, the quantity of purified water in my backpack became 999999. Infinite purified water, it's done. The entire area was silent for a second, then erupted in heaven-shaking screams. Nearly 100 girls went crazy, rushing up to hug, bite, and kiss me. With a wave of my hand, hundreds of bottles of water directly piled up into a small mountain. Everyone twisted off the caps and chugged wildly, their happiness exploding on the spot. Don't just drink, start sweeping the goods. I opened the trading market and directly posted an order. 100 bottles of water for 400 iron blocks. In less than 3 seconds, sold out. These people were mad with thirst. Keep posting orders. Wooden planks, plastics, refined timber flooded into my backpack. We even traded for a sparkling Midas golden salmon. I had them set up a pot and stew the golden salmon. One gulp of fish soup down, and a massive heat current exploded in my body. Constitution 10. Current Constitution 20. Awesome. The feeling of weakness was swept away. I could beat 2 cows to death right now. With the materials gathered, I clicked upgrade without hesitation. Upgrade level 4 raft. The raft expanded crazily, becoming the size of a basketball court, and sprouted a second-story observation tower and thick wooden fences. Pointing at the blueprints on the workbench, I roared at the whole class. Tomorrow, everyone equips hand crossbows. Early on the third day, the little dragon baby woke me up by licking me with its tongue. I walked out of the room, maxed out the 10 trading opportunities, and directly traded for all the hand crossbow materials. Flashes of white light, 99 hand crossbows gleaming with cold metal light, and thousands of crossbow bolts were distributed to every girl's hands. I wrapped my arm around Alina's waist and announced to the whole class, "Your professor is pregnant, and it's twins." The entire crowd turned to stone, then directly boiled over. Dozens of girls rushed up and surrounded Elena, offering her tea and water, asking about her well-being, terrified she might bump into something. Just as everyone was excitedly preparing for battle, Sophie fished up a book glowing with blue light. Charged/blue excellent rank. Charge for 1 minute, burst with 3 times the damage. The whole class voted unanimously to give it directly to me to learn. Zoe also opened a set of green refined iron armor, transforming into a humanoid tank. Night fell. Only 10+ hours left until the tsunami. The girls asked for water and took showers in a partition shower room made of wooden boards. Listening to the sounds of laughing and playing inside, I had a massive nosebleed. After showering, everyone prepared to sleep. I directly pulled Elena out from under her covers. "We have to fight a war tomorrow, let's train combat techniques in advance." I pulled her into the captain's cabin with a righteous face. Curses rang out outside. Midnight. Whoosh-woo. Fierce winds tore through the night sky without warning. A bone-piercing chill instantly swept through our bodies. The raft shook violently. Thump, thump, thump. Countless hands frantically slapped the bottom of the boat. Through the gaps in the wooden boards, it was full of eerie green and blue dread eyes outside. An icy system prompt smashed directly into my mind. "Son of a bitch, sea god Poseidon's prompt. The gloomy wind sea area is quite special. The tsunami has been advanced to midnight. Killing monsters can shorten the tsunami's duration. Good luck to you all, teehee." My face turned green. This sea god was absolutely a sick psycho. So damn insidious. Stop sleeping. Everyone assemble. The tsunami is here early. I kicked the door open and rushed onto the deck carrying a refined iron longsword. Freezing ocean waves smashed down on our heads. The 4 to 5 meter high giant waves carried dense swarms of monsters. 8-legged human-faced octopuses, pale, twisted corpses, frantically writhing black sludge. In the center of the wave crest, a blue crystal emitted a demonic light. That was the storm core. "Zoe, hold the very front. Luna, roam and assassinate. Chloe, release the dragon baby." Wearing heavy armor and raising her shield, Zoe firmly blocked the charging monster horde. Luna turned into a dark shadow, her dagger frantically harvesting monster heads. Sophie puffed her cheeks and spat out giant bubbles, instantly trapping the flying monsters in midair. "Everyone shoot." Swish, swish, swish. 99 crossbow bolts poured down like a rainstorm, and monsters fell in swaths. Kill prompts scrolled frantically, and the tsunami countdown began to shorten. Roar. A giant starfish like a mountain of meat crashed heavily onto the deck. "Silas, its weakness is the eye on its belly," Elena shouted. I took a deep breath, dazzling white light glowing on my blade. Power was squeezed to the limit. My whole body shot out like a cannonball. A 10-meter-long incandescent blade aura instantly cleaved through the night. Die for me. The meat mountain starfish didn't even have time to scream before it was chopped in half. The single eye on its belly exploded with a bang. The countdown violently dropped by 3 minutes. Kill. The whole class saw red, firmly holding off the monster's suicide charges. When the last second ticked away, the fierce winds suddenly stopped. The monstrous waves collapsed with a crash. The monsters retreated into the deep sea like a tide. The deck was covered with corpses and severed limbs. Foul-smelling blood dyed the wooden boards red. We won. That blue storm core slowly drifted into my hand. I used the trading market to instantly fill the material gaps and roared at the panel. Upgrade to level 5 raft. White light erupted. The entire raft reorganized, stretched, and elevated crazily in the light. In the blink of an eye, a basic real wooden ship abruptly appeared on the ocean. Ding. Congratulations to Silas team, the first in the world to complete the ship upgrade. First in the world. The 100 girls froze for a second, then erupted into hysterical screams. Everyone hugged each other, crying and laughing. Relying on the time difference, our group with a hellish start managed to step over the whole world to take first place. At 10 a.m. the next day, the global announcement sounded right on time. Congratulations to the Leviathan from the gloomy wind sea area for securing global first. Rewarded with epic treasure chest X3. The world channel completely blew up. Chad raged impotently. Rigged. How could a garbage starting village like the gloomy wind sea area get first? Broken. Brad was so angry he spat blood. Epic chests. I refused to accept this. The brothers in the gloomy wind sea area poured out their grievances crazily. The tsunami came 9 hours early, you guys try it? We almost all died out completely, no matter how the world channel argued. I stared dead at the 3 giant treasure chests emitting brilliant purple light before my eyes, my breathing almost stopping. Lily, touch the runes. Lily closed her eyes and shook the bag wildly. Big D, it must be Big D Destiny. The rune hit the deck. Extreme Luck Destiny. I directly flipped open the first chest. Purple light flashed, and an antique parchment lay quietly inside. World Sea Area Map fragmented. Epic rank. Records the coordinates and routes of the 4 great sea areas. A top-tier divine item. With this, we could actively navigate and leave this godforsaken gloomy wind sea area. Open the second one. Skill book, Poseidon's Call, epic rank. Consumes mental power to summon the Deep-Sea Carapace Legion, minimum 100 units. I looked at the requirements. It required 100 points of mental power. I directly stuffed it to Elena. Her SS rank talent tripled her mental power, so she could just learn it. Elena blushed and learned the skill, waving her fair hand land at the sea surface. Splash! The sea surface boiled, and over 300 fully armored, trident-wielding deep-sea giant crabs and lobsters broke out of the water, surrounding the entire ship tightly. Maximum prestige. The whole class of girls screamed again and again. The last chest. I took a deep breath and abruptly flipped open the lid. A golden light, even more blinding than before, shot straight into the clouds. Countless motes of light formed a holographic projection of a dreamlike giant ship in midair. Blueprint: Leviathan luxury voyage ship, epic rank fusing Da Vinci's mechanical engineering, a maritime fortress integrating attack, defense, and living. Upgrade requirements: 100,000 wooden planks, 10,000 iron blocks, 5 storm cores. Looking at this string of abnormal astronomical numbers, the deck fell dead silent. Zoe stuttered, Would have to build this until our next life. What are you afraid of? I pointed at the system panel, my eyes burning with fanatical ambition. Others couldn't build it in a lifetime, but we have unlimited supplies. As long as we have time, this isn't a dream. I abruptly drew my refined iron longsword, pointed it straight at the end of the ocean, and roared loudly. Starting today, I'm gonna build a moving palace on the sea. Prepare to set sail and leave this crappy sea area. Looking at the abnormal requirement of 100,000 wooden planks on the blueprint, the whole class of girls turned pale with fright. I laughed out loud directly, stuffing the blueprint into my backpack. You have to eat food one bite at a time and build a ship one piece at a time. Building a palace is a long-term goal. For now, let's run. I unrolled that epic world sea area map. Elena, activate your hack. Alina's beautiful eyes flashed, and her SS rank talent instantly locked onto a target. Go to the Rainbow Sea area. The environment there is stable, seafood is abundant, and there are almost no monsters that attack proactively. Most importantly, the rare material rainbow glazed would needed to build your palace only exists on the special islands there. Good heavens, what are we waiting for? I immediately threw down resources to instantly build a simple ship's wheel and a giant sail. Gripping the cold wheel with both hands, a feeling of blood connection welled up in my heart. At this moment, I was finally a true captain. Everyone stand firm. Destination southeast, Rainbow Sea area, set off. Fierce winds filled the sails. The Leviathan rode the wind and broke the waves, thoroughly bidding farewell to this hellish starting village with its gloomy winds. The Tier 2 power core operated crazily, and the 150-meter-long steel Leviathan carved a perfect white wake on the sea surface. After a full day and night of sailing, we passed through the sea area barrier. Early the next morning, everyone was completely shocked by the scene before them. The ink-like seawater disappeared. Red, orange, yellow, green, cyan, blue, purple seven-colored seawater covered the ocean surface, as beautiful as if God had knocked over his palate. The air was full of a sweet and refreshing scent, and a few dolphins even leapt out of the water to welcome us. On the deck, the 99 girls leaned against the railings, chattering excitedly like a group of sorority girls on spring break. Captain, I'm here. Lily jogged over clutching her rune bag. First day in the Rainbow Sea area. I must draw a peerless good fortune. She closed her eyes and muttered crazily. After shaking it a few times, a rune stone glowing with pink light fell out. Once she saw the engraving clearly, her face turned bright red swish, and she quickly hid it behind her back. Luna was quick-cunned, snatched it, and read it out loud. Great fortune rune. Venus, the goddess of love's blessing. Engraving. Spring breeze caresses the blooming rose. The dream night arrives under the moonlight. Auspicious. Confession holding hands. Inauspicious. Emo alone. The nearly 100 girls instantly exploded with laughter. Lily's having peach blossom luck. Dream night. That's practically reciting our captain's social security number. Lily was so embarrassed her eyes turned red, almost crying from anxiety. I walked over, pulled the rune from Luna's hand, and smoothly pinched Lily's bouncy, soft and squishy cheek. So timid, how will you be the chief prophet in the future? Come, let me take you to the observation tower to train your courage. I grabbed her wrist and, amidst the jeers of the girls, dragged her straight up to the second floor. The sea breeze blew gently. Lily lowered her head, her hands tightly wringing the hem of her prep school uniform, her two calves and white silk thigh-highs trembling like they had motors installed. Afraid of heights? I walked behind her, my hands holding her shoulders, my warm breath blowing directly on her ear. Chest out, head up, straighten your back. Her body instantly tensed straight, her heart beating so fast it was about to jump out of her throat. Why are your legs still trembling? My gaze moved down, deliberately staring at her calves wrapped in white silk, making a posture as if to squat down. Are your legs numb from standing too long? I'll massage them for you. Captain, don't look at my legs. She was so embarrassed she was about to cry. Just at this critical moment where a spark could set things off. Captain, look quickly. A voice-cracking scream from Chloe downstairs directly interrupted my spellcasting. There's an island ahead. I let Lily go and rushed to the railing. Where the sea met the sky, the outline of a massive green island abruptly appeared, with a never-fading giant rainbow hanging above it. Comparing it with the map, Rainbow Island, abundant in the rare material rainbow glazed wood, unknown energy fluctuations in the center, searching high and low only to find it effortlessly. Full speed ahead, destination Rainbow Island. The warship approached the island. Elena waved her fair hand, and the 300 deep-sea carapace legion dived underwater to scout. After confirming the coastline was safe, I immediately assigned troops. Zoe, Luna, Chloe, Sofia. Form an advanced team with me, land on the island. The 5 of us rowed a small boat and stepped onto the soft sandy beach. Exotic flowers and herbs glowed faintly in the the rainforest. As we walked, a round, transparent jelly-like slime hopped out of the bushes, a question mark popping up over its head. Non-aggressive, just a bunch of low-level mobs selling cuteness. Just as everyone relaxed their vigilance, intermittent cries for help from a woman suddenly came from the front left. Pushing aside the bushes, beside a smashed wooden raft lay a woman whose abdomen was torn open, covered in blood. She desperately grabbed the dirt, using her last ounce of strength to roar, "Don't eat the fruits here. The gourmand, it will find you." Before she finished speaking, she died on the spot. The gourmand. Alarm bells rang in my heart. The next second, a sudden change occurred. Whoosh, a black shadow, so fast it was a blur, shot down from the tree canopy, pouncing straight toward the dragon baby in Chloe's arms. Careful, I didn't have time to think. My 21 points of constitution erupted instantly, and like an American football tackle, I firmly pressed Chloe to the ground beneath me. Screech, the ear-piercing sound of breaking air brushed past my scalp, slicing off several strands of hair. The black shadow landed. It was actually a giant black mantis, larger than a human. Its scythe-like forelegs gleamed with the cold light of death. Its giant compound eyes stared dead at the dragon baby, its throat frantically swallowing saliva. It treated the dragon baby as top-tier ingredients. Gourmand mantis elite monster. Level? All question marks. Shields up. Protect Chloe. I roared loudly. Zoe bellowed and slammed down her refined iron tower shield. Luna instantly turned invisible and merged into the tree shadows. Dare to touch my dragon baby. I'll use you to bless my blade. I kicked off the ground and took the initiative to charge and attack. The mantis didn't spout nonsense, chopping down with its blade heading. Clang. A deafening clash of metal. I firmly blocked its scythe, and the ground under my feet directly cracked open. Your strength is nothing much. The veins on my arms bulged. I forcefully pushed its scythe back and followed the momentum to slash across with my blade. The blade's edge rubbed a long string of sparks against its pitch-black carapace, leaving a white mark. Defense broken. The mantis went completely berserk, its twin sides turning into an endless blur to seal off all my retreat paths. I retreated step by step, my speed completely crushed. 3 steps to the left. There's a 0.3-second opening at the joint. Alina's calm professor voice exploded from the communicator. I instinctively stepped 3 paces to the left and viciously stabbed my blade into its arm joint. Green juice sprayed wildly. Luna leaped up from its back like a phantom, stabbing her short blades straight into the back of its neck. As a result, the cicada wings on the mantis back vibrated violently, erupting with a terrifying shockwave. Luna was directly blown away like a kite with a broken string, crashing into a tree and spraying fresh blood. The battle situation collapsed instantly. The mantis flapped its wings to take off, wanting to bypass the tower shield and eat the dragon baby raw. Right at this perilous moment, bang! A giant pink bubble descended from the sky, accurately and securely enclosing the midair mantis. Sophie held her breath, her face red, activating the bubble cage for hard crowd control. The mantis hacked crazily inside, but was bounced entirely back by the slippery bubble walls. Chloe, burn it. Dragon baby, breathe fire. The little dragon baby opened its mouth and spewed crimson gold dragon flame, instantly turning the bubble into a high-temperature oven. The mantis let out shrill screams inside. Slash. Elena issued the final judgment. I gripped the blade with both hands, the charged slash's triple damage climbing to its peak. My entire body turned into an afterimage, launching into the sky, cleaving the night with one slash. Green blood mixed with internal organs exploded wildly. The giant mantis was forcefully chopped in half by me from head to toe. Ding. First kill of an elite monster. Constitution 1. Obtained epic material, Reaper Mantis Scythe. Obtained excellent blue treasure chest. Awesome. Dropped top-tier items. I stored the loot and immediately took the heavily injured Luna back to the ship. Back on the ship, the 99 girl's eyes went straight at the sight of the blue chest. I pulled over the still teary-eyed Lily, grasped her small hand, and pressed it onto the chest, borrowing your Venus blessing to consecrate this. Click. Blue light flickered. 3 top-tier items. Skill book, Weakness Insight. Grants a chance to see through the enemy's weaknesses. I directly learned it. Blueprint, Tier 2 Arsenal. Unlocks advanced equipment. Life Essence. Rapidly heals injuries. I pinched Luna's mouth open and dripped the life essence inside. A dozen seconds later, her bones popped back into place, and she sat up with full health. The whole crowd hailed it as miracle medicine. Night grew deep. Campfires flickered on the deck, and the girls were drinking fish soup. I sat at the stern enjoying the breeze. Elena walked over holding soup, telling me she had already deployed the Deep-Sea Carapace Legion for 247 patrols. After finishing the soup, I walked over to Lily and crouched down. Her palm was scratched during the retreat today. I took out iodine from the first aid kit, carefully cleaned it for her, and put on a band-aid. As a reward, it'll take you back to the observation tower to look at the scenery tomorrow. Her face turned so red it was almost bleeding. Early the next morning, I went straight to the deck. I just happened to see Lily feeding the fishes. Without a word, I dragged her back to the observation tower. I encircled her from behind, my warm breath hitting her neck. I directly activated the new skill, Weakness Insight. A line of golden text floated above her head. Extremely nervous, adoration level max. Weakness, 0 resistance to the captain's intimate access actions, loves head pats. I almost laughed out loud. This skill was simply a god-tier pickup technique. I reached out and gently rubbed her black hair. You are already very brave, Lily. Her whole body went soft, completely falling for it, only managing not to collapse by gripping the railing tightly. Just then, my gaze sharpened. Deep within Rainbow Island, a wisp of gray-blue cooking smoke actually rose. There were people on the island. I immediately assembled all 100 people and decided to land on the island in advance for a sweep. But this set of tattered wooden armor couldn't withstand elite monsters at all. I pointed to the Tier 2 arsenal blueprint. We need to upgrade this and equip everyone, but we're still short over 300 iron blocks. Zoe became anxious. I sneered, pulling out a dark iron block from my backpack. Did everyone forget that because of Elena and our 2 unborn babies, we still have one infinite conversion opportunity? The entire place fell dead silent, then erupted with cheers that nearly overturned the deck. Captain is awesome. Long live the professor. I silently recited without hesitation. Conversion target, iron block. Golden light exploded. The number of iron blocks in my backpack instantly became infinite. Iron blocks. Freaking awesome. This was hard currency resource. Start working. Time to swap out our shotguns for cannons. Instantly upgraded to the Tier 2 arsenal. Assembly line fully opened. Refined iron hand crossbows, refined iron longswords, refined iron armors were produced crazily. The 5-person advanced landing team were all in full green tier mini-godly gear. Zoe carried a refined iron tower shield on her back like a Spartan Valkyrie. Luna dual-wielded refined iron short blades, overflowing with murderous aura. The 95 girls staying behind were all equipped with refined iron hand crossbows. Armed to the teeth, at dusk, the 5 of us landed on the island again. Just entering the rainforest, a small mantis pounced on Sophie. Luna instantly turned invisible to block, and Zoe swatted it away with her shield, smashing it into a tree. Chloe, Sophie, and I fired a volley from our 3-hand crossbows, directly nailing it dead to the trunk. Tense conned insta-kill. Stats plus gear equaled absolute suppression. Moving forward in the dark for half an hour, a rudimentary wooden camp appeared ahead. 7 or 8 emaciated barbarians were sitting around a campfire. Sitting in the middle was a scar-faced Russian descent burly man, exactly the pirate boss, Boris. With one glance, seeing the 5 of us, his eyes almost popped out. Excellent metal full-body armor, sharp iron swords, 5 delicate beauties. Boris swallowed a mouthful of saliva greedily, hefting a stone axe and roaring arrogantly. Running into my territory, what do you want to do? Brothers, strip off their armor. These chicks are really juicy. Filthy words flowed incessantly. I was too lazy to even laugh, just spitting out 3 words. Beat him to death. Luna instantly vanished. The next breath, she stuck behind a skinny monkey like a ghost. A cold flash, his windpipe was sliced, and fresh blood sprayed wildly. Insta-kill. Courting death. Boris charged over Reedied with his men. Are you trying to tickle me? Zoe laughed wildly, her Hercules talent erupting. The refined iron tower shield slammed over like a wall. With 2 bangs, 2 people's sternums caved in, dying violently on the spot. Chloe and Sophie raised their hand crossbows and sniped ruthlessly, not a single arrow missing. 30 seconds, corpses all over the ground. Boris went completely mad, raising his stone axe with both hands and chopping down fiercely toward my head. Too slow. In front of my 24 constitution points, it was like slow motion. I raised my refined iron longsword with one hand. Clang! A massive boom. The webbing between Boris' thumb and index finger blew apart on the spot. The stone axe he was so proud of was forcefully shattered into 2 pieces by my sword. The cold tip of the sword directly pressed against his throat. I looked at his pants-sweating face, sneering continuously. Now, this island is mine. Do you have any objections? Boris knelt on the ground, frantically making the sign of the cross on his chest to beg for mercy. I patted his face with the tip of the sword to interrogate him for intel. He poured everything out like beans from a bamboo tube. Deep inside the island was a terrifying king of Gurman's giant spider, guarding right in that forest emitting 7-colored light. Intel acquired. I withdrew my longsword and turned around. Boris had just revealed the relief of surviving a disaster when I dropped a sentence without turning my head. Luna, leave no one alive. Luna turned into a black shadow. After a few screams, the camp fell dead silent, blood flowing like a river. The weak are prey to the strong. This was the iron rule of the survival world. I walked over to the mantis corpse and activated the devour trait of the titan's body. Warm currents surged. My stamina instantly returned to its peak. I kicked aside the mutilated corpse on the ground, gazing at the forbidden area deep in the rainforest emitting a faint 7-colored glow, my eyes falling into complete fanaticism. Notify Elena to send tents over. We're camping here tonight. Tomorrow, they'll take you all to slaughter a boss for fun. Night fell. The rainforest of Rainbow Island was illuminated in multicolored hues by glowing plants. The camp lit a campfire and the girls stewed fish soup. To survive, one cannot have the benevolence of a woman. Elena sat next to me. That pair of beautiful black silk legs was extremely eye-catching in the firelight. On the other side, the girls were jeering, telling Lily to touch the runes. This silly girl was so shy she didn't know what to do. I walked over, pulled out a glowing small blue flower, and stuffed it into her hand. As our fingertips touched, she trembled all over. Consider it today's reward. I lowered my voice and leaned close to her ear. When we get back to the ship, I have an even bigger reward. Do you want it? Lily's face turned so red it was almost bleeding. Before she could speak, Elena charged over with the map. I followed her into the command tent. She pointed at the map and laid out the tactics, feinting to the east and attacking in the west, an invincible line of thought. I smiled wickedly and and leaned close, wrapping my arm around her waist. No flaws in the tactics, but fighting a boss tomorrow as the main force, I need to replenish some high energy. Elena, you wouldn't want our 2 future babies to lose at the starting line because of malnutrition, right? Elena blushed to the roots of her neck, her defenses instantly broken. The oil lamp was blown out, leaving only the sound of rapid breathing in the tent. Early the next morning, I walked out of the tent refreshed. Constitution soared straight to 27 points. The whole class of 100 people assembled at the edge of the depression. Below was the glowing rainbow-glazed wood. A 100-meter-wide spider web was spread out under the giant trees. A terrifying black spider the size of a truck, with the upper body of an alluring woman, lay in the middle. Legendary boss, king of Gurmans, Arachne the Spider Queen. Zoe charged to the front, smashing her giant shield against the ground. Ugly monster, come out and die. The Spider Queen let out an ear-piercing hiss, and hundreds of small spider mobs instantly crawled out from underground, pouncing toward Zoe's position like a tide. Do it, I shouted in a low voice. Chloe released the dragon baby. The crimson gold fire dragon breathed a mouthful of dragon flame, hitting the Spider Queen. Sparks exploded, not leaving even a scorch mark on her carapace. Her magic resistance was terrifyingly high. The Spider Queen went completely berserk, staring dead at Chloe on the cliff. She opened her mouth and spewed out a thick spider web. I tackled Chloe to the ground. The web hit the cliff face, instantly corroding a large pit. Highly toxic, Luna turned into a black shadow and snuck into the blind spot of the Spider Queen's abdomen. Stabbing down desperately with both blades, metal clashed loudly. It only left a white mark. The massive rebound force directly sent Luna flying, sticking her firmly to the spider web. The Spider Queen raised her sharp limbs and viciously stabbed down, courting death. My 27 constitution points fully erupted. I shot off the cliff like a cannonball. In midair, I directly activated the Dragon Knight fusion. The refined iron longsword shone with dazzling blue light. Triple damage, charged slash. The weakness insight skill locked dead onto the connecting point between her human and spider bodies. Break for me. The longsword slashed down madly with a momentum that could tear through anything. Crack. The limbs blocking the way shattered inch by inch. The blade stabbed unobstructed into her fatal node, piercing straight through. Blackish green blood exploded like a fountain. The Spider Queen screamed and twisted crazily. I landed on one knee, gripping the sword hilt tightly, activating Titan's body devour. Boundless energy poured back into my body along the blade.
Constitution permanently 15.
Spirit permanently 30. Directly got a legendary skill for free, Spider Form. Boom! The Spider Queen's massive body completely crashed to the ground. The global announcement exploded. First kill of a legendary boss. Rewarded an epic treasure chest. All members stat soared, and the ship's durability doubled. The world channel instantly went crazy. Chad begged on his knees to be an underling, and a bunch of people clamored to come in defect. I was too lazy to look. I picked up the epic tier 2 power core blueprint from the ground. To double the speed, we must gather 5 storm cores. Back at the camp, I pulled out that epic treasure chest radiating purple light. Lily, your turn. Lily blushed and took a deep breath. The rune stone fell, golden light flashing wildly. A big extreme luck. I flipped the chest open in one go. A blue dread heart still beating appeared. Heart of Titan, epic consumable, can make a ship skip levels directly. I stared at the extremely excited 99 girls, my gaze finally locking onto Lily, who was nervously wringing her fingers. I walked over and reached out to lift her chin. Her peach blossom eyes were full of bewilderment. Lily, remember the bigger reward I mentioned? The whole place was dead silent. All the girls' gossiping souls burned brightly. I stared into her eyes, enunciating every word. Lily, be my woman. Become the second mistress of this ship. Tears burst from Lily's eyes. Harboring a secret crush for 3 years, she finally got what she wished for. Choking with sobs, she shouted I do, and plunged headlong into my arms. I lowered my head and kissed away her tears. A massive sense of happiness rushed straight to her brain. This silly girl rolled her eyes back and fainted sweetly on the spot. I carried her back to the bed in the captain's cabin. This psychological endurance still needed training. The next day, Lily woke up blushing. I assembled everyone on the deck. Taking out the Heart of Titan, I slammed it into the groove of the captain's driving seat. Boom! Blue dread streaming light instantly covered the entire ship. The deck expanded crazily, and the wooden boards and steel let out the explosive sounds of skeletal restructuring. A minute later, the light dissipated. A 3-story steel leviathan, 100 meters long and 30 meters wide, abruptly floated on the sea. A level 6 voyage ship, equipped with an arsenal, a medical bay, and an ecological garden. It was simply a moving maritime fortress. From today onwards, this is the true Leviathan. Just as everyone was cheering, Sophie in the observation tower suddenly screamed, "Captain!" We drifted into a gray sea area. There's a ship ahead. I grabbed the binoculars. The seawater turned grayish-white. Ahead stopped an armed ship, pitch black all over, flying a wolf's head flag. Dozens of ferocious pirates stood on the deck. The opponent's Oneid captain, Victor, upon seeing our ship full of nearly 100 beautiful girls, had his eyes practically glowing green. "Pretty boy, this is the Crimson Graveyard. Hand over the women and supplies, and I'll spare your life." So this area was a mutual hunting arena. I used weakness insight to take a glance. A dilapidated level 5 ship, the chassis completely corroded. Did he really think think he was Poseidon, the god of the sea? Elena, is your Carapace Legion hungry? I didn't even turn my head. They can't wait. Elena waved her fair hand. The seabed instantly boiled over. Hundreds of giant crabs and lobsters, like ghosts, frantically bored through the pirate ship's chassis. The cracking sounds were continuous. Seawater poured in, and the pirate ship tilted and sank at a visible speed. The pirates completely panicked. Victor went mad with anger. Drop the grappling hooks. Steal their ship. Over a dozen pirates climbed up the ropes onto the Leviathan's deck. What greeted them was a one-sided slaughter, a dimensional strike down. The moment the first pirate showed his head, the refined iron tower shield in Zoe's hands smashed down on his head. Bang! His facial features were directly flattened, and he was smashed into the sea to feed the fishes. Luna turned into a black shadow, slicing the second person's neck with one knife. Chloe and Sophie led the musket crossbow team behind them, sniping ruthlessly without missing a single shot. The pirates fell into the sea like dumplings being dropped into a pot. Trash! All of you get out of the way. Victor went completely insane, activating his berserk talent. His muscles swelled, his legs kicked fiercely against the deck, and he shot across the dozen-meter distance like a cannonball, pouncing straight at my face. Capture the ringleader to capture the bandits. You jumped quite high. I raised the refined iron longsword with one hand. Clang! An explosive sound. His fist, as big as a clay pot, smashed into the sword blade, erupting with the crisp sound of bones breaking and sinews snapping. Victor let out a tragic scream. His arm twisted and deformed on the spot, white bone piercing through the skin. I flicked my wrist, and the icy sword edge was directly pressed against his neck. The battle ended without any suspense. The remaining few pirates all jumped into the sea and were torn to pieces by the Carapace Legion on the seabed. Victor knelt on the deck, shaking like a sieve. The rule of the Crimson Graveyard: kill the captain, drop a storm core. I stared at him. He desperately kowtowed and begged for mercy. I sneered, raised my hand, and the sword fell. A large head flew up into the sky. Killed Victor. Obtained Storm Core 1. Just a fish pond for high-end players. From today on, I am the top predator in the sea area, after cleaning up the battlefield. At night, Chloe sat alone in the corner sulking, angry that I didn't let her make a move during the day. This battle maniac attribute was truly something else. I picked her up by the collar and brought her directly into the captain's cabin. The door closed, lights off. I forced her into a corner. She hugged her arms, her breathing rapid. As punishment for not following orders, tonight you will stay here and aren't allowed to go anywhere. I leaned close to her ear. The warm breath made her legs go soft. I raised my hand to brush aside the blonde hair by her ear. She froze on the spot, her face turning so red it was almost bleeding. Just at this moment when a spark was about to set things off. Beep! A piercing alarm sounded. The control panel flashed with blue dread light. Blood Moon Brawl activated. Within 12 hours, the positions of all ships are forcibly exposed. Killing a captain and looting supplies yields double storm cores. Top 3 rankings rewarded with treasure chests. My eyes instantly lit up. Someone was sending me a pillow just when I wanted to sleep. The opportunity to gather the cores had arrived. I directly left Chloe behind and rushed out of the captain's cabin. Everyone assemble on deck. 5 minutes later, the 99 girls stood fully armed. Looking at the densely packed, exposed light dots on the map, the timid girls felt a bit panicky. Hi, the Leviathan is the most conspicuous target in the sea area. Can we even hide? I drew my longsword, pointing it at the blood-colored full moon in the night sky. This is a welfare round giving us cores. Everyone prepare for battle. Elena quickly planned the route, locking onto the nearest lone fat sheep. The Leviathan raised its giant sails and, like a deep-sea behemoth, bore straight down on the target. Half an hour later, a level 4 raft appeared in sight. The people on it were frightened out of their wits, desperately trying to escape. Fire! I roared. Nearly 100 refined iron hand crossbows fired simultaneously. The dense rain of arrows smashed down, covering the sky and the earth. Screams resounded through the night sky. The people on the raft were instantly shot into hedgehogs. Killed the captain of the wild dog. Obtained Storm Core 1. This thrill of mowing the lawn? Awesome. I stood at the bow of the ship, facing the biting sea breeze, watching the continuously jumping light dots on the panel, my lips curling into a bloodthirsty, maniacal smile. Continue looking for the next target. Welcome to my fish pond. Elena's slender fingers tapped lightly on the virtual map. Silas, the next target is 15 nautical miles away, a level 4 raft, about 20 people. Full speed ahead. The Leviathan sails were full, its speed soaring. On the deck, the 99 girls had experienced the previous crushing battle and had long lost their sense of tension. Zoe, carrying her Spartan tower shield that was taller than her, was currently gesturing and chatting with Luna. Half an hour later, Sophie in the observation tower shouted, "Captain, I see the target. They seem to be converging with another ship." I raised my binoculars. On the distant sea surface, 2 rafts were pulled up next to each other. Evidently, the opponents had spotted the rapidly approaching Leviathan on the map and were huddling together for warmth out of fear. Retreat? Why retreat? I drew my longsword and turned to look at Elena. "Professor, is your Carapace Legion hungry?"
Elena understood instantly.
Nodding with a smile, I turned to the entire crew and ordered, "Everyone prepare for battle. Today, well, let them see what it means to leave no blade of grass alive when the Leviathan passes through." On the opposite black shark, Captain Blake's legs were trembling from fear, yet he was still putting on a brave face and roaring, "What's there to be afraid of? We have over 30 people. Prepare grappling hooks." When they get close, we charge together. Just as his words fell. Swish, swish, swish. The shrieks of death tore through the sky. 99 refined iron hand crossbows fired simultaneously, and a dense shower of arrows instantly shrouded their sky. Get down, Blake roared. It was all too late. There was nowhere to hide on the narrow raft. The sound of crossbow bolts entering flesh accompanied by screams rose and fell. In just one volley, more than half of the opponents fell. Slim, the skinny monkey captain of the adjacent raft, was scared out of his wits and directly jumped into the sea to escape. The moment he entered the water, countless giant crabs and lobsters waving their pincers surged up from the seabed, firmly grabbing his ankles and dragging him into the abyss. Not even a splash was made on the surface of the sea. Sail. Ram them, I ordered coldly. Boom! A loud crash with splinters flying. The level 4 rafts were as brittle as biscuits in front of the Leviathan, instantly shattering into pieces. The surviving pirates fell into the sea, directly feeding Elena's Carapace Legion. Prompts immediately rang in my mind. Killed the captain of the Black Shark. Obtained Storm Core 1. Killed the captain of the Skinny Monkey. Obtained Storm Core 1. Adding the previous ones, I had a total of 4 Storm Cores in hand. Only one step away from the final goal. I opened the kill leaderboard. First place, Blood Wolf Alliance, kills 7. Second place, Leviathan, kills 4. Blood Wolf Alliance? Perfect. Saves me the trouble of finding them one by one. Just as I was thinking this, Elena's expression changed, and she pointed at the map, speaking urgently. Silas, something's wrong. The Blood Wolf Alliance is sailing towards us at full speed. On the map, 7 or 8 light dots formed an arrowhead formation, pouncing straight at the Leviathan. Our Dark Horse had attracted the clearing operation of the strongest alliance in this sea area. The deck instantly fell dead silent. The crushing numerical disparity of over 100 people caused the girls to waver. What are you afraid of? Zoe slammed her tower shield heavily onto the deck. They'll swat away whoever comes. Quiet. The moment I spoke, I suppressed all the noise. I stared at the map, my eyes full of excitement. Good that they're coming. Elena, do you have a plan? Elena's SS rank talent master tactician operated at full speed. She leaned close to my ear and quickly relayed the plan. Listening to it, my eyes lit up. This decapitation strike tactic was really dirty. I like it. Everyone listened to my command. I drew my epic rank Reaper Mantis Blade. Sophie, use bubbles to create a fog wall around the ship. The bigger the better. Elena, the Carapace Legion goes underwater to bite off their rudders. The melee squad defends the deck to the death. As for me, they'll be right back. 10 minutes later, the Blood Wolf Alliance fleet surrounded the Leviathan. The Alliance leader, Fenrir, stood at the bow of his ship, staring greedily at the lights and the girls on our ship. Listen up, people inside. Hand over the ship and half the women, and I'll spare your lives. Answering him was a soft sound. Pop! A 7-colored bubble violently burst in midair. Countless tiny bubbles instantly formed a thick fog where you couldn't see your own fingers, shrouding a radius of hundreds of meters. The Blood Wolf Alliance instantly fell into chaos. Weird cracking sounds came from underwater. Boss! The rudder was bitten off. They completely turned into headless flies, colliding with each other in the thick fog, and I had already activated spider form. Using the cover of the thick fog and the colliding ships, I climbed up the bottom of a level 3 raft like a deep-sea phantom. 8 sharp spider legs hung me securely to the stern of the ship. Weakness insight activated, and a bright red marker lit up above the panicked captain's head on the deck. I exerted force with my legs and shot out like a cannonball. The mantis blade directly pierced through his heart from behind. The opponent didn't even let out a single scream before he stopped breathing. Succeeding in one strike, I didn't linger for a moment, kicking off with my spider legs to fade back into the thick fog. A one-sided slaughter officially began. Number 3 is dead. Brad got stabbed through the heart. The communication channel was full of screams right before death. Listening to it, Fenrir felt his entire body go cold, turning from rage to extreme fear. Retreat, retreat quickly. Too late. The thick fog dispersed, and only his level 5 raft remained on the sea surface. The other ships had all become empty shells, the crews buried along with their dead captains. I canceled the spider form, holding my longsword, and emerged from the thin air without a drop of blood on my clothes, standing in front of him. Ding! Blood Moon Brawl has ended. Leviathan Captain Silas has killed 11 captains and topped the leaderboard. Obtained legendary treasure chest 1. With a flash of golden light, an ornate treasure chest appeared out of thin air. I didn't even look at Fenrir begging for mercy on his knees, backhanding a slash across his neck. Killed Fenrir. Obtained Storm Core 1. The 5th core obtained. I carried the treasure chest back to the Leviathan. On the deck, the 99 girls looked towards me completely changed, as if looking at a true deity. My gaze swept through the crowd and locked onto the Tsundra dragon girl Chloe in the corner, who was clenching her fists, looking tense. Before opening the chest, we need to settle the score with some people who disobeyed orders. I walked towards her step by step. Chloe's small face flushed red instantly, stiffening her neck and acting tough. How did I disobey orders? During the battle just now, she indeed couldn't suppress the urge to activate her dragon transformation and charge forward herself. This was a major taboo on the battlefield. Follow me. I turned and walked towards the captain's cabin. The captain's cabin again. Chloe felt both shy and angry, but still obediently followed inside. The door slammed shut. I didn't turn on the light. Moonlight spilled in from the porthole. I approached step by step, and Chloe subconsciously backed up until her back pressed against the cold wall. I raised my hand and propped it against the wall next to her cheek, trapping her securely. At such a close distance, I could smell the pleasant sweet vanilla scent on her body. No, your mistake? I lowered my head, my warm breath hitting her ear. Chloe's body went soft instantly, her voice as faint as a mosquito's. I shouldn't always think about charging forward myself. Since you know your mistake, then there is a punishment. I pinched her chin, forcing her to look up and meet my eyes. Your punishment. In the future, when we encounter BOS level enemies, you will fire the first shot. She froze. What kind of punishment was this? But I emphasized my tone. You must obey orders absolutely. If I say retreat, even if you're one hit away, you must fall back. I want you to become the team's sharpest blade. Can you do it? Chloe's eyes welled up. She understood that I was acknowledging her strength in another way. I can. She nodded heavily, with a choked nasal tone. Seeing her looking both tough and aggrieved, I lowered my head and gently planted a kiss on her smooth forehead. Boom! Chloe was completely stunned. Covering her forehead, her face was as red as a steam engine. This is a reward for a good, obedient child. Let's go. Time to open the chest and divide the spoils. Back on the deck, the campfire was burning vigorously. The legendary treasure chest was placed in the center. Lily, it's up to you. I called out to Lily. Lily blushed, took out her rune bag, and gave it a shake. A 7-colored light fell out. Legendary extreme luck, the ultimate blessing of the god of destiny. All wishes come true. This talent was too ridiculous. I directly pressed my hand on the chest. Open. Blinding golden light shot into the sky. An ancient tome formed of flowing water floated in midair. Skill book. Poseidon's binding legendary effect. Resonate with the ocean. Manipulate seawater within a 100-meter radius to turn into chains, giant hands, or barriers for crowd control and defense. A legendary water-controlling god skill. In this marine survival game, this was simply a dimensional strike cheat. I learned it immediately. I only felt my mind clear up, having the illusion of a blood connection with the boundless ocean beneath my feet. I raised my hand and pointed at the sea surface. Splash! A giant arm made of seawater violently broke out of the water, swinging fiercely in midair, bringing up violent winds and giant waves. The whole crowd was shocked. With this move, the Leviathan's defense was maxed out. I put away the 5 storm cores and turned to Elena. The materials for upgrading the power core are complete. Everyone rest. Tomorrow we return to Rainbow Island. The next day, the Leviathan turned around and sailed back at full speed. Last night, I used 1,000 bottles of purified water in the trading market to instantly buy 10,000 wooden planks, mass-produced 99 refined iron axes, and distributed them. After landing on the island, 20 to 30 girls took turns swinging their axes and chopping down rainbow glazed wood like crazy. During this, a mantis monster sneak attacked. I directly fired a Poseidon's binding, and 2 water chains instantly bound it in midair. Luna went up and decapitated it with 1 sword stroke, moving as smoothly as flowing water. At dusk, the collection of 1,000 units of rainbow glazed wood was complete. Back on the ship, I pulled out the epic blueprint. Blueprint, Tier 2 power core. Materials complete. Begin construction. Purple light shrouded the center of the ship. 10 minutes later, a dull roar resounded through the entire ship. A core covered in runes perfectly merged into the ship's hull. The simple ships will turned into a highly technological virtual control console. Unlocked active navigation. Maximum speed 40 knots. We never had to rely on the weather and wait for the wind again. I set the forward command. The stern turbine spewed out a dark blue water stream, and the Leviathan shot across the sea surface like an arrow leaving the bow. I forcefully turned the steering wheel, and the 100-meter giant ship traced a perfect drifting arc on the sea surface. Just as everyone was cheering and jumping for joy, an icy system prompt smashed down on our heads. Sea God's announcement. The second global tsunami will arrive at 9 a.m. tomorrow. The intensity will be dynamically adjusted based on the ship's overall strength. The deck instantly fell dead silent. Adjusted based on strength? That meant the stronger our ship, the more terrifying the tsunami. What are you panicking for? I shouted coldly, suppressing the panic of the entire crowd. In the past Raft era, the tsunami was a natural disaster. Now we are a level 6 voyage ship. The tsunami is a buffet sent to us by the sea god. Stimulated by my words, everyone instantly woke up. The monsters in the tsunami were all walking supply boxes. Elena immediately laid out the tactics. Zoe and Luna would block the door in melee, Chloe would suppress with dragon flame from the air, Sophie would control the field with bubbles, and the remaining 90+ girls would work in 2 shifts using hand crossbows for fire coverage. I would control the entire field. 8:50 a.m. the next day. Everyone was fully armed and stood in strict formation. The countdown reached 0. Rumble. On the distant horizon, a 10-meter-high black giant wave smashed over at a terrifying speed. On top of the wave crest were densely packed, roaring mutated sea monsters. Hold steady. I abruptly spread my arms. Poseidon's binding. The seawater within 100 meters of the Leviathan instantly boiled. Sturdy seawater barriers rose from the ground, forming a circular defense line. Boom! The giant wave smashed fiercely against the water wall. A 1,000-meter radius trembled crazily. Countless monsters were directly smashed into pieces and swept away by the water wall. Some fish that slipped through the net crashed onto the deck using the impact force. Fire!
Elena shouted.
Swish, swish, swish. 90+ hand crossbows spewed metal storms. A giant monster, an amalgamation of an octopus and a crab, charged up, sweeping its 8 tentacles. They'll take it. Zoe's petite body raised the tower shield to tank it head-on. With a loud thump, she plowed 2 deep trenches on the deck but held it firmly. Luna circled behind like a ghost, her short sword piercing into the gaps of the carapace. The root of its 3rd pair of walking legs on its abdomen is its nerve center. I roared while keeping weakness insight open. Luna lowered her body, backhanding a stab into the weakness. The giant monster let out a tragic scream and died on the spot. The second wave was even fiercer. A 10-meter-long, pitch-black deep-sea giant lizard elite monster pounced onto the deck, opening its bloody mouth to spew out a black energy beam pointing straight at our crossbowman formation. Courting death, with a thought, a giant seawater hand rose abruptly, firmly blocking the energy beam. Water vapor billowed wildly. Focus fire on its mouth. Chloe's dragon flame, Zoe's short spear, and dozens of crossbow bolts blasted into the giant lizard's mouth simultaneously. The giant lizard was beaten back continuously. I leaped high into the air, activating charge slash. The epic Reaper scythe carrying triple damage descended from the sky like divine punishment, piercing through the giant lizard's head in one strike. First kill elite. Obtained Storm Core 1. After a full hour of bloody battle, the tsunami finally retreated. The Leviathan's deck was piled with monster corpses, blood flowing like a river, but the 100 of us had 0 casualties, successfully defended against the tsunami. Settlement rewards distributed. 2 golden lights fell. Obtained Storm Core 1. Obtained Epic Treasure Chest 1. Cheers of surviving a disaster erupted on the deck. The girls began to skillfully clean up the battlefield, and the Carapace Legion cleared the corpses. I finished repairing the ship, clapped my hands, and signaled everyone to look over. Today's great victory, aside from the well-executed tactics, the greatest merit goes to our goddess of luck. I looked at Lily in the corner, who was currently bandaging someone's wounds. Swish! Nearly 100 gazes focused on her. Lily instantly blushed. I walked up to her, and in front of everyone, reached out to tuck her sweat-dampened stray hair behind her ear, my fingertips deliberately brushing past her warm earlobe. You open the epic chest. Also, I leaned close to her ear and lowered my voice. Come to my room tonight. They'll teach you some combat techniques that only 2 people can learn. Lily's legs went soft, her mind buzzing with noise. Blushing, she walked up to the chest, pressing her palms together in prayer. Click. The chest opened. Basic ecological garden upgrade component excellent, can start farming now. Siren's ring epic mental power recovery 30, skill cost 20, and can store a water type skill for instant cast. Top tier mage artifact. I put it on immediately, my mental power recovering crazily. Next, we sorted out the light orbs dropped by the monsters on the ground. A large amount of wooden planks, iron blocks, and food, as well as a simple arrow tower blueprint and a seed exchange card. We can finally eat fresh vegetables. Luna rummaged out a card emitting white light from the pile of corpses. Drank Talent Awakening card. The whole crowd held their breath. Among the 99 girls, there were still a bunch of unawakened ordinary people. This thing could alter one's destiny against the heavens. I scanned the crowd and handed the card to a slightly chubby girl with extremely low presence who had worked the hardest carrying corpses just now. Patty, it's yours. Because you exerted the most effort just now, rewarding based on merit. Patty took it with redrimmed eyes, awakening the gourmand talent on the spot. She could identify toxins and top-tier cooking. Perfect logistical support. With this, the spoils were divided, and everyone's strength skyrocketed. The night was as dark as ink. The door to the captain's cabin was knocked gently. Lily, clutching the hem of her prep school uniform, walked in nervously like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Captain, were you looking for me? I put down the long sword I was wiping, walked towards her step by step, and grasped her cold, small hands. Why are your hands so cold? I pulled her to the giant floor-to-ceiling window, gently wrapping my arms around her waist from behind. Through her thin clothes, she could feel my wildly beating heart. You are my goddess of luck. Without you, we wouldn't have survived until now. I lowered my head, my warm breath spraying by her ear. This reward, you must take it. I turned her body around, lowered my head, and kissed her. From raw resistance, she gradually sank into it, turning into a puddle of spring water melting in my embrace. Half an hour later, I helped her take off her shoes. Aren't you taking off the thigh-high socks? Leave them on, they have their uses. This night was very long. Early the next morning, sunlight spilled on the head of the bed. I teased the tip of Lily's nose, watching her shyly bury her face in the quilt. Just then, the icy mechanical voice exploded in my mind. Ding! Successfully gestated a second offspring. The offspring's bloodline potential is extremely high. Obtained the 3rd infinite conversion opportunity. Here. I sat up abruptly, suppressed my ecstasy, got dressed, and walked out of the captain's cabin. Calling over the strategist Elena, I told her about the matter of the 3 infinite conversion opportunities. What should we choose? I looked at the supplies in my backpack. Elena's SS rank brain operated crazily. She pointed at the C chart and said word by word, choose storm cores. This is the bottleneck material for advanced creations, priceless and unavailable on the market. Infinite cores equals a dimensional strike. Great minds think alike. With a thought. Conversion target. Storm core. Stormy cores. It's done. I took a deep breath, pulled out the epic construction blueprint at the bottom of the box, and slapped it on the table. Build the complete set of the Leviathan. Rumble. The ship erupted with purple light more brilliant than any time before. The entire hull lengthened and widened crazily in the light. The wooden structures replaced by indestructible dark gold armor. The sides of the ship sprouted 30 heavy cannons and 3 automatic arrow towers, and the bow grew a ferocious bone keel ram. 10 minutes later, A 150-meter-long, 40-meter-wide epic rank heavy war behemoth smashed onto the sea surface like a moving maritime fortress. Ultimate Leviathan construction complete. Durability 20,000, armor 50, ramming 100. Cheers that could flip the sky erupted on the deck. With the ship, we can walk sideways in this sea area. Elena pointed at the ecological garden module on the control console. The ship is upgraded, but we still lack the soil of life to cultivate high-yield crops. Her finger landed heavily on a new coordinate on the general sea area map. I pushed open the door of the steering cabin, grabbed the internal broadcast microphone, my voice resounding through every corner of the giant ship. Attention everyone. Our next stop, pointing our swords straight at the normal sea area. The Tier 2 power core operated crazily, and the 150-meter-long steel Leviathan carved a perfect white wake on the sea surface. This was no longer survival, it was simply a top-tier cruise ship vacation. On the deck, the girls completely let themselves go, throwing away their heavy leather armor and changing into cool camisoles and shorts. The hormones of youth mixed with the sea breeze blowing in our faces. Relying on her Hercules talent, Zoe forcefully pulled half-meter-long giant fish out of the sea. Sophie used bubbles to wrap the bait and fly kites. Chloe hugged her dragon baby, despising the trash fish. I was looking at the blueprints when the door was knocked. The lively Lucy, bringing along a few pale-faced girls, walked in, twisting and turning coyly. Captain, that thing has come. Aunt Flo has visited. I suddenly realized that after 2 weeks of marine survival, the girls' physiological period had arrived. In the past, our nerves were tense and we couldn't care less, but now that life was comfortable, all the problems came knocking. There were exactly 99 girls on the ship, without tampons or panty liners. This was a devastating disaster. I immediately opened the trading market. This stuff had actually become a luxury item now. A pack of day-use pads actually cost 10 bottles of water. The World Channel was full of people cursing the sanitary pad scalpers, a bunch of grown men begging to buy at high prices for their girlfriends. I sneered. The sky-high prices in others' eyes, what was that to me? I found the few sellers with the largest inventory and directly private messaged them to buy everything. The other party, seeing the thousands of bottles of water I took out, was shocked into sending question marks wildly, thinking I was crazy. I was too lazy to talk nonsense and click trade. Then I swept the entire market of all stock. When I smashed several large boxes of brand new tampons and panty liners, piled up like a small mountain, onto the deck, all 99 girls were dumbfounded. Lucy screamed and threw herself on me, giving me a bear hug. The others surrounded me with red eyes, shouting long live, using a few thousand bottles of infinite water to exchange for the dead loyalty of the entire team of 100 people. This move opened up the situation. Massive profit. On the evening of the 4th day, the light dot on the sea chart overlapped with the normal sea area. As soon as we crossed the boundary, the atmosphere felt wrong. No gloomy winds, no rainbows. Everything was so ordinary it made people's hair stand on end. Elena activated the highest level radar. The screen showed that 30 nautical miles directly ahead, there was a massive island with extremely strong vitality. Exactly the place we were looking for the soil of life. Full speed ahead. When we got within 5 nautical miles, the alarms flashed wildly. Silas, all detection equipment has failed. Encountered unknown energy field interference. The screen instantly turned into snow, the data all a string of question marks. I activated weakness insight, and the pop-it-up information was even more outrageous. Dream garden. Status, slumbering. Prompt. Please do not disturb the elegant lattice sweet dreams. This was not an ordinary island at all. It was clearly a monster's lair. Level 1 alert for everyone. Nearly 100 hand crossbows loaded. The ship stopped on the sea surface. In the deathly silence, an ethereal female voice exploded directly in the depths of everyone's minds. Outsiders, thank you for intruding into my dream. The girls turned pale with fright. I shouted in a low voice to steady morale, called upon Zoe, Luna, and Chloe, and covered by Sophie's 7-colored bubble, we rode the landing raft to sneak onto the island. Stepping on the warm, soft soil, the majestic life energy almost materialized. The trees and vines took the initiative to make way, guiding us toward the center of the island. A crystal lake came into view. In the center of the lake bloomed a giant flower of light. On the stamen lay a breathtakingly beautiful woman quietly. Green hair reaching her waist, skin as white as snow. A long dress woven from vines wrapped her perfect curves. The majestic life force was emanating from her body. She was this island. System prompts popped up crazily in my face. Legendary life form. Slumbering flower goddess. Flora. Awakening condition. Through the dynasty reproduction system, conduct the fusion of life essence, repair her damaged soul and make her pregnant. Then you can sign a master servant contract. Staring at the prompt, I was dumbfounded. This wasn't asking for my help. It was clearly lusting after my body. But this was a legendary employee. With her secured, having the whole ship of 100 people eating epic vegetables every day wasn't a dream. I turned to look at the 3 girls, talking nonsense without changing expression or skipping a beat. This island master's energy is unbalanced. She needs me to use my Titan's body to give her a deep tissue physical therapy. Spread out and stand guard. Absolutely do not peek. Half believing and half doubting, they scattered. I took a deep breath and stepped onto the crystal path. Walking to the stamen, the flower of light slowly closed, forming a private space. Looking at the perfect deity so close at hand, I wasn't polite and directly unequipped my armor. For hours later, the flower bud suddenly bloomed. A muffled sound from the depths of the soul exploded. A visible shockwave of life force swept across the entire island. All living things grew madly, flourishing and withering in an alternating cycle. Immediately after, a thick emerald green pillar of light shot up into the sky from the center of the lake, tearing through the clouds, directly dyeing the sky of the entire normal sea area an emerald color. The World Channel completely exploded. Server-wide announcement. Legendary secret treasure has appeared. Pirate ships from all directions sped towards the Pillar of Light like mad dogs. And right then in the Crystal Lake, the Pillar of Light reversed and rolled back into Flora's body. She slowly opened her pure emerald green eyes and looked at me, successfully awakened the slumbering flower goddess. Signed Master Servant Contract. Gestation of the third offspring. Bloodline potential. Legendary. Obtained the fourth infinite conversion opportunity. Before I even had time to rejoice, Luna's scream tore through the air. Silas. So many ships. The Leviathan is surrounded. I swept my cold eyes towards the sea. I looked at the newly awakened Flora and transmitted a thought through the contract. Can you fight? Flora tilted her head. She slowly raised her white jade-like fair hand towards the sky and gently clenched it. Rumble. The earth shook and the mountains swayed. Dozens of giant spiked vines thick as water barrels broke out of the sea. Blood-colored manating lotuses, 10 meters in diameter, bloomed out of thin air on the sea surface. The Iron Fist pirates surrounding the Leviathan were just dreaming of robbing money and women, when the next second they welcomed divine punishment. The giant vines directly pierced through the bottoms of their ships, nailing them to death in the sea. The blood lotuses erupted with terrifying suction force, grinding both people and ships into bloody mist, crushing dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. A one-sided slaughter. Zoe and the other two looked dumbfounded from the shore, annihilating masts and oars with a wave of the hand. This is the power of a god. Flora walked barefoot up to me and bowed slightly. Flora greets Master. Immediately after, she touched her flat lower abdomen and asked with a dorky and cute expression, Master, when will I be able to bear fruit for you? I almost choked on my spit. Chloe next to us broke her defenses instantly, looking at me as if she wanted to bite me twice. I coughed hurriedly to cover it up. This biology ritual is very complex. No rush. Let me ask you, where is the soil of life? Flora pointed at the ground beneath her feet as if it was a matter of course. The entire island is. Holy shit, we struck it rich. I directly pulled out the seed card, exchanged it for potato seeds, and handed them to her. Flora casually scattered them, green light rippling in her palm. 10 seconds. Only 10 seconds. The shriveled seeds broke through the soil, bloomed and bore fruit. Golden, sparkling potatoes bigger than human heads hopped out of the ground by themselves, piling into a small mountain. Epic rank golden holy crest potato. Eating it permanently increases constitution and spirit. Eating potatoes can even add stats. I shouted excitedly into the walkie-talkie. Bring tools, land on the island and dig dirt, but Flora found it troublesome. She walked to the shore, suctioning with her palm. The life essence of the entire island turned into billions of fireflies gathering in her hand, and the black soil under her feet instantly turned into gravel. The physical island collapsed with a boom and sank to the bottom of the sea. And in her hand, there was a miniature bonsai, packing up the house and taking it away. Back on the ship, Chloe was jealous, crossing her arms and coldly snorting at Flora. Flora thought this action was fun, mimicking Chloe by crossing her arms and turning her head, heavily snorting, almost twisting her neck. Then she mimicked her stomping a special steel plate and causing a loud bang. The whole crowd died laughing, and Chloe cried from anger. The night was deep. Elena knocked open the door of the captain's cabin. She wore a silk nightgown, her sheer black silk stockings wrapping her slender, beautiful legs, and walked behind me carrying hot coffee, gently massaging my temples. The fourth infinite conversion, have you thought about what to use it on? She asked. I reached back and grabbed her hand, playing with it. Elena walked to sit opposite me, elegantly crossing her legs, the black silk rubbing and making a tantalizing rustling sound. We lack nothing right now. She analyzed, it's better to save this trump card and use it when we encounter rule-level items that can determine the world pattern. As expected of an SS rank tactical master, I stood up, propped my hands on the back of her chair, and trapped her in my embrace. My gaze swept over her snow-white cleavage. The professor is right, but it's so late, you wouldn't want this precious set of black silk stockings to be ruined by seawater, would you? Elena blushed and pushed me reproachfully. You're twisting logic. Captain's orders. I leaned close to her ear. The tactical meeting isn't over yet. We need to deeply discuss the duties of the captain's wife. Click, the lights went out. The fourth conversion was in no rush. The treasure right in front of me was the most fatal. Early the next morning, the deck was a flurry of chaos. Claire was holding Victoria's secret lace lingerie, chasing Flora, who only wore vines, all over the ship. No, it's too tight. Flora protected her proud chest tightly, looking aggrieved. They like freedom. They don't like being locked in a cage. I almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. I forcefully ordered her to adapt to local customs and change into a t-shirt and shorts, finally suppressing the spring scenery all over the ship. In the central large iron pot, Patty boiled the epic potatoes. Golden light radiated everywhere, and a strange fragrance assailed the nose. With one command from me, the 99 girls swarmed up like hungry wolves. I took a bite, and constitution and spirit instantly increased by 0.5. Just as I was enjoying it, I suddenly noticed the atmosphere was wrong. The epic-grade ingredient's energy was too violent. The girls couldn't handle it at all. They collectively caught a fever. Sophie's face was flushed, sweating profusely. Lily blurrily carefully pulled open her collar, exposing a large area of snow white. Chloe directly took off her jacket, leaving only a tight sports tank top, her skin flushing an alluring pink. Alina's black silk was soaked in sweat, clinging to her skin and tracing a thrillingly fleshy feeling. The deck instantly turned into a massive sauna. Hormones and fragrant sweat mixed. The vast expanse of nearly 100 girls' white skin almost blinded my eyes. Nobody move, sit cross-legged and absorb the energy immediately. I suppressed the evil fire and roared. If it's really too hot, take off your jackets. Scientific heat dissipation. The girls felt as if granted amnesty and clothes flew about. Flora leaned close, considerately helping to pull open my collar. Master, heat dissipation. I hurriedly pressed her hand down. Any more dissipation and this ship would capsize. A full hour later, the collective evolution was complete. Everyone's constitution broke into the double digits. Zoe excitedly flipped several somersaults, cracking her knuckles and talking tough. What was more fatal was that, after the evolution, these girls all became bolder. One by one, they surrounded me to touch my abs, their eyes turning stringy with desire, looking like a group of cheerleaders locking onto a quarterback. I was both crying and laughing, blocking a few wandering hands reaching for my pecs, when Sophie in the observation tower suddenly let out a piercing scream. Captain, something is drifting over ahead. It looks like a dead person. My heart tightened, and I was just about to pull out my binoculars to see what was going on. Buzz! A soul-striking ancient hum suddenly exploded. The sky was instantly dyed a pure gold. A giant golden light curtain descended from the sky, directly covering the entire sea area. So it wasn't a dead person, but the reflection of this damn announcement. Majestic characters floated on the light curtain line by line. Global announcement. The novice protection period has officially ended, opening the Sea Gods Mission Leaderboard, Global Survival Leaderboard, and Global Crew Leaderboard. The deck fell dead silent instantly. The girls were all dumbfounded. I immediately opened the panel. On the crew leaderboard, the Leviathan was ranked first. This was largely thanks to the recently subdued legendary flower goddess Flora. But this girl was an odd-air cable gardener handling logistics. If it really came to a fight, her ranking was too watered down. The second and third places had actually subdued local epic-level powerhouses, which was solid combat power. Opening the survival leaderboard again, my heart instantly sank. First place, level 8 War Fortress. Second place, level 7 Ghost Ship. And the Leviathan we had just upgraded was only ranked 5th. Are you kidding? We have infinite materials, why are we only 5th? Chloe stomped her foot in anger. The invincible confidence that had just been established on the deck was mercilessly shattered by the leaderboards. Quiet, I gave a low shout, suppressing the commotion. What does 5th place show? It shows we are not strong enough yet. Do you want to hide on the ship waiting to die, or personally forge the Leviathan into the true number 1? As soon as I said these words, Zoe was the first to raise her fist and roar, "Fuck their grandmas. Send them all to the bottom of the sea to feed the fishes." Morale was instantly restored to full. Elena pushed up her glasses, analyzing calmly. Upgrading to level 7 requires special materials, completely unavailable in the trading market. We can only find them from the mission leaderboard. I opened the mission leaderboard, my gaze locking onto an epic level mission. Purify the lair of the Banshee. The rewards impressively included an exchange card for 10,000 units of precious materials, exactly enough to fill the upgrade gap. But this was a public mission. A maximum of 8 people could accept it, but only one could complete it. Elena, plan the route. Destination, Banshee's lair. Night fell, and the Leviathan sped along at full speed. The girls were all nervously preparing for battle. This was a real epic level scenario. I stood alone in the captain's cabin looking at the sea chart. The door was gently pushed open, and Elena walked in carrying hot coffee. She had changed into a cozy off-white cashmere sweater, her legs still wearing her signature black silk stockings. She walked behind me, reaching out to gently massage my temples, analyzing the data of the other high-level ships. I closed my eyes, enjoying this gentleness. Suddenly, I turned to look at her legs. "Professor, your stockings are torn." She froze for a moment and looked down. At the base of her thigh, a very fine tear had been stretched tight, revealing a thrilling touch of snow white. Her face turned bright red swish, and she flusteredly tried to cover it up. I squatted down, looking directly at the tear. My fingers seemingly unintentionally brushed past, and suddenly exerted force. Ryip, the tear expanded. Elena shuddered all over, letting out a suppressed moan from her throat, going soft in the chair. "Professor, a master tactician like you even miscalculated your own equipment?" I stood up, took out a brand new pack of top-tier black silk stockings from the storage cabinet, and stuffed it into her hand. "Change into them. Tomorrow's battle requires your 100 focus." Pinching the black stockings, her face completely red, she almost ran away as if fleeing from the captain's cabin. 3 hours later, the door was knocked again. This time, Lily slipped in. She was wearing my oversized white shirt, the hem just covering her thighs, barefoot, her eyes red like a frightened little white rabbit. "Captain, that mission. My runes keep sounding the alarm. I'm afraid it'll harm everyone tomorrow." As the one in charge of metaphysics, her intuition was more accurate than a radar. I pulled her into my arms, my hand covering her cold, small hands. "What are you afraid of? If the sky falls, it'll hold it up." The corner of my mouth curled into a wicked smile. "To prevent you from underperforming tomorrow, I've decided to give you a constitution enhancement crash course in advance. You'll use my Titan's body to help guide your energy." This excuse was terrible, but Lily obediently closed her eyes. This constitution lesson was taught very profoundly. From theory to practice, it didn't end until late into the night. Lily collapsed from exhaustion in the crook of my arm and fell into a deep sleep. Just then, golden system prompts flashed wildly. Crew member Lily's talent potential has been developed. Drawing runes has a tiny probability of triggering divine oracle. Holy shit, this wave of mutual running towards each other was a massive profit. Early the next morning, I woke Lily up to open the blind box. Her clothes disheveled, the little girl shook the rune bag with a completely red face. Golden light burst out. Divine Oracle Athena's exclamation designates a 50-meter absolute safe zone, lasting for 30 minutes. Any hostile attacks are ineffective and restores friendly status by 5 per second. A true invincibility hack worthy of its name. With this thing, this wave is secure. At dawn, the Leviathan arrived at the Trench of Sorrows. The seawater was as calm as a pool of dead water. The stench of blood mixed with a faint crying and howling sound drilled straight into the brain. In the thick fog, the other 7 massive behemoths were already in position. The Tyrannosaurus covered in bone spikes, the pitch-black and eerie cobra, the Templar engraved with crosses. Each one represented a ruthless figure on the leaderboards. In the temporary channel, everyone agreed to meet on a broken wooden platform in the center of the trench. I made my entrance bringing Zoe and Luna. Over 20 people, every one of them exuding a murderous aura. Rex, holding a blood axe and standing 2 meters tall, saw that I only brought 2 girls and grinned mockingly. Captain of the Leviathan, bringing 2 chicks to play house? Bang! Without another word, Zoe heavily smashed her door-sized Spartan tower shield onto the floating wood, shaking the platform violently. Luna's fingers hooked onto her knife hilt, her murderous aura instantly locking onto him. I ignored these drama queens and looked towards the center of the platform. That was a giant whirlpool 1,000 meters in diameter, leading straight underground. These old foxes exchanged a bunch of hypocritical pleasantries and finally unanimously agreed. The 8 ships would drop anchor and secure themselves, and each would send 10 people to dive down along the ropes, acting as a pincer for each other. This was a chain trap. If something really happened, anyone who wanted to run would have to cut others' ropes. I was too lazy to expose it and simply nodded. Prepare to enter. Darkness, viscous darkness. Diving down along the cables, an all-stat suppression aura frantically drained our stamina. Sophie's little face was pale. I forcibly resisted relying on my 80 Constitution Titan's body. Diving down to 50 meters, the cable of the Cobra on our right suddenly acted like a maddened giant python, whipping fiercely towards us with a strong gust of wind. This was trying to knock us all down into the abyss. Courting death, Zoe roared, her crank Hercules talent operating at 5x power. Her legs tightly clamped the cable, swinging her tower shield to face it head-on. Clang! A muffled bell tolled in the deep sea. Zoe forcefully withstood this deadly collision without retreating a single step. From the darkness came the Cobra Captain Viper's maliciously sarcastic voice. Oh my hand slipped and I didn't grab tightly. Please don't mind it. My eyes turned cold. Luna, send a return gift. The air distorted and Luna activated stealth mode, instantly vanishing. 2 seconds later, a shrill scream erupted from Viper's cable. The pirate covering their rear had a jet of blood spray from his right wrist, and his entire palm fell smoothly into the abyss. Luna reappeared beside me, her short knife untouched by a single drop of blood. The whole area fell dead silent. These old veterans finally understood that the girls from the Leviathan were all poisonous roses with thorns. Landing at the bottom in an underwater Gothic karst cave, a dilapidated altar stood in the center. Dozens of semi-transparent black human figures floated around. Shadow of wailing, 50 physical immunity, comes with mental pollution. Rex, who had the most explosive temper, swung his blood axe and charged. Die for me. A heavy, powerful axe strike hacked over, but the black shadow only swayed, returning a mental shockwave that directly knocked Rex staggering backward, his movements slowing down like an old man. Physical attacks were completely useless. I sneered, Chloe. Chloe snapped her fingers, and the little dragon baby flapped its wings and flew up. Roar. A scorching dragon breath mixed with golden lightning arcs swept through the monster horde like a high-energy laser cannon. Physical immunity. I'm dealing magical true damage. Upon contact with the lightning and fire, this group of difficult black shadows didn't even utter a scream before evaporating directly. The intense light illuminated the entire area. REX's eyes almost popped out. The other captains looked at our team, their eyes instantly filling with wariness and greed. We cleanly cleared out the mobs without messing up a single hair. Just then, a line of blue-dread ancient Latin text appeared on the altar. Weakness insight automatically translated. Sacrifice 8 unyielding souls to awaken the master. My heart pounded. There were exactly 8 captains on the scene. This was a mutual kill dead end. Before I could even speak to warn them, a muffled sound tore through the deathly silence. The honest Captain Old George numbly lowered his head. A blood-stained cross-sword tip protruded from his chest. Father Alex stood behind him, smiling like a hypocritical fanatic, slowly drawing out the long sword. May the Lord grant you peace. The altar lacks a primer, dust to dust, ashes to ashes. First blood drawn. Old George crew members died violently in an instant. The atmosphere of the entire area snapped instantly. Father Alex wiped the blood-stained sword with a white handkerchief. Gentlemen, those who survive will share the opportunity. This is the will of God. The 9 fanatical Templar knights behind him stepped forward simultaneously, their holy light shining brightly. This holy roller wanted to forcefully control the field and start a hunting game. Bullshit, Rex roared. Viper retreated sinisterly. The father makes sense. survival of the fittest. This fragile alliance shattered in a second. I led the girls retreating to a dead corner. Zoe raised her shield, Luna went invisible, and the little dragon baby held the line. As long as we didn't move, they didn't dare provoke us. A melee broke out instantly. Skills flew everywhere, and screams shook the heavens. Rex was spun around in circles by Father Alex's bizarre swordplay, blood grooves continuously appearing on his body. Viper specifically picked on the weak, raising his knife and dropping it smoothly. Not long after, the fourth captain fell. The red words on the altar glowed blindingly. The stone skin peeled off crazily, revealing the main body that looked like coagulated blood. At the top of the altar, a cloud of black mist rapidly condensed. A female silhouette with no facial features and wildly dancing black hair abruptly formed. Banshee, epic rank, promoting to legendary status. That overwhelming mental pressure made my hair stand on end. Stop fighting, the SSS is out, someone exclaimed. Too late. Woo! The Banshee erupted with a shrill shriek. Rex, who was closest, was struck as if by lightning, bleeding from his 7 orifices, his eyes instantly losing focus. Father Alex and Viper also groaned and retreated violently. On our side, Zoe raised her shield to block the physical impact, and Sophie's pink bubble covered the area, forcefully withstanding this wave of mental shock. The lackeys of the other teams foamed at the mouth on the spot and turned into idiots. The Banshee raised her hand and pointed at the heavily injured Rex. A massive suction force erupted. Rex withered into a piece of skin, and a golden soul was forcefully extracted. The Banshee opened her mouth and swallowed it, her size expanding once again. The fifth captain, fallen. This wasn't a sacrifice to clear the level at all. This was using lives to feed a monster. The Banshee turned her faceless head and locked onto the next snacked one with the most vigorous vitality. Father Alex. The hypocritical mask completely torn off. Father Alex looked fierce. Demon of hell, I represent the Lord to exorcise you. The muscles under his robe expanded crazily, growing to 3 meters tall, his entire body bursting with blinding golden light. S-rank talent. Paladin's golden armor. This holy roller indeed had a trump card. The Banshee swung her black mist arm, and a pitch-black energy whip tore through the air and lashed down fiercely. Clang. Father Alex crossed his arms to tank the damage hidden. The rocks beneath his feet shattered, and he was pushed backward, sliding out 2 deep trenches, but he forcefully held his ground. Although he talked arrogantly, his energy bar dropped by 20 directly. His eyes darted around, locking onto me who was watching the show. Leviathan people, still not making a move? Have your little dragon breathe fire again. He forcefully stomped his foot, his massive golden body charging towards the Banshee, but in midair, he bizarrely turned a corner, heading straight for us, diverting the disaster. He wanted to use us as cannon fodder, courting death. Zoe slammed her tower shield heavily on the ground. Luna held her dagger in a reverse grip. I didn't even lift an eyelid. Suddenly, the Banshee expanded violently. She stopped her movements, gathered power, and let out a non-discriminatory shriek 10 times more terrifying than before. Echo of despair full-screen AoE. A visible black shockwave detonated like a nuclear bomb. Father Alex, taking the brunt of it, was like being smashed head-on by a fully loaded truck. The 3-meter golden Bodis light flashed wildly, then instantly went out. With a bang, it exploded into a sky full of light motes. Father Alex collapsed to the ground, bleeding from his 7 orifices, twitched twice, and died violently on the spot. Viper, who was developing stealthily in the distance, also rolled all over the ground holding his head, screaming continuously, and directly turned into an idiot. In the entire karst cave, only our group remained. The Banshee slowly turned around, her hollow and terrifying aura locking dead onto the Leviathan's formation.